Meadowmont. It might be the most convenient neighborhood in Chapel Hill. You can walk to a grocery store, a restaurant, an elementary school, and a gym. You're about 3 miles from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and about 2 miles from Interstate 40. That's the life you want. It delivers it better than almost really anywhere else in this town. There's no cheap way in, and here's the part that's going to cost people money. Every trick you would normally use, every hack that you would use in other neighborhoods to find the affordable door, buy a townhome instead of a house, buy a condo instead of a townhome, because Meadowmont straddles 2 counties, look at the cheaper county. Every single one of those is backward at Meadowmont. It's upside down, not slightly off. It is completely backward. And I'm going to show you those numbers. I'm Bill Stevenson with Spotlight Realty, 32 years in the Triangle, over 16 years selling real estate here. Everything in this video comes either from my knowledge of the market or MLS. And in a minute, I'm going to explain why in this particular neighborhood, even the MLS doesn't really tell you the whole story. So 3 things. 1, why is this market upside down? And what does that do to your home search? 2, why the numbers you've been reading online for Meadowmont are structurally wrong. Not sloppy, but just wrong. And number 3, what you're actually buying, including a school district issue that catches some families moving here from out of state off guard. Okay, first, this upside down market. Normally, a neighborhood works like a staircase. Condos at the bottom, townhomes in the middle, single family homes at the top. You pick your step based on your budget. I did a video on Amberley and Carey a little while ago recently, where that's exactly how it works. The townhomes there run about $360,000 less than the houses. Clean staircase. Meadowmont is not a staircase. Single family homes, 17 sales since the beginning of January 2025. Median $890,000. The cheapest was $639,000, a very small, weird 2-bedroom, and the only sale under $700,000 in that entire period. Townhomes, 4 sales. Granted, that's not a lot, but the cheapest was $1 million. The most expensive was $1.495 million. So let's read those 2 again. The typical house sold for $890,000. The cheapest townhome sold for $1 million. In Meadowmont, the townhomes cost more than the houses. Okay, now condos, supposed to be the bottom of the staircase. There were 8 sales. Again, not that many, but the lowest was $700,000. The average, $1.1 million. The highest, $2.1 million. So there is no bottom step. The condos start above the cheapest house. The townhomes start above the typical house. If you came here looking for the attainable version of Meadowmont, it doesn't really exist in price ranges under really $700,000, $800,000. And the property type filter you have on your search app is actively working against you. If you're searching for townhomes because you think that's what you can afford, in Meadowmont, you're doing it upside down. So now here's the part that nobody seems to account for. Carrying costs are inverted too. Single-family HOA dues in Meadowmont are just under $600 a year. That's not a typo, and I didn't misspeak, per year. For context, Amberley and Carey, a neighborhood with a lower median price, runs about $1,200 a year. Meadowmont single-family home is half that. Townhomes pay around $500 a month on top of that neighborhood fee, and some of the condos are close to $1,000 a month on top of that fee. So a condo owner can be paying roughly 20 times what a single family owner pays in the same neighborhood, while also not having paid less to get in. Which brings us to the practical takeaway. And it's the opposite of what you might assume. It's opposite of what I would assume. In Meadowmont, the single family home is both the cheapest way in and the cheapest way to stay. If you're shopping here to save money by going smaller, you are actually going to spend more. So why? These aren't starter condos and starter townhomes. They're lock and leave luxury, built for people downsizing out of a big house or a UNC affiliated buyer who wants walkability and no yard and will pay for it. Meanwhile, the cheapest single family sale was a tiny little 2-bedroom home, kind of a weird one. The type of dwelling tells you almost nothing here. Size, position, and finish do all the work. So if that's useful, actual sold numbers and what they mean instead of a listing description or a listicle. When you subscribe here, I do a different triangle neighborhood every week, basically the same way every time, this way, with some stats and numbers and trying to interpret interpret those numbers for people who want to buy in the neighborhood or considering it. Now, why are online numbers wrong in this neighborhood? This is a bigger problem. And this one applies to basically every estimate you've looked at for this neighborhood for Meadowmont. Add up everything I just gave you. 17 houses, 4 townhomes, and 8 condos sold in basically 18 months. That's 29 MLS transactions in 18 months in a community of 435 acres. For a neighborhood this size, that's a very, very thin record. And it's thin for a couple of reasons. One is that people love Meadowmont. And once you're in, and it was probably hard to get in, people don't typically leave. There's not a lot of turnover, so not a lot of data, not a lot of statistics for us to rely on. So many of these things will swing wildly. Many of these numbers will swing wildly if you use averages and medians over short periods of time. When, a $690,000 single family home sells and a $2.5 million condo sells, that seems to imply that prices have gone up by 3 or 4 times. And that just absolutely isn't true. It just happens but it isn't true. That just absolutely isn't true. The second reason is that Meadowmont is one of those neighborhoods where a meaningful number of homes sell without ever hitting the MLS. They're quiet sales, neighbor to neighbor, agent to agent, before it lists. And here's what that does to you. Every automated valuation you've seen, every estimate on every portal is built by extrapolating from public sale records. When a big share of the real activity never really enters the MLS records, the model isn't being precise. It's working from an incomplete and probably skewed sample and reporting the result with total confidence. So when you see a tidy little number next to a Meadowmont address that says this is the estimate of its value, the automated estimate, understand what that actually is. It's sort of a guess drawn from maybe about half the story. So one more thing in that vein, because it's the mistake I see most. What sold, median of $890,000. What's listed right now, median of $1.695 million. The lowest active list price, $795,000. That active number is nearly double the sold number. That does not mean that Meadowmont doubled. The list price is what somebody wants, sold price is what something is worth. What that gap most likely tells you is that the current inventory happens to be weighted toward the luxury end, possibly that the more attainable homes are exactly the ones changing hands quickly and quietly off the MLS or with 1 to 20 days on the market. So what sold was around $890,000. What you can actually shop today starts at $795,000, and the middle of what's available is $1.7 million. Those are 2 different statements, and only one of them is about value. So that's the honest argument for why you'd call somebody like me. So let me just make it plainly and move on. In a neighborhood where a real share of the inventory never gets listed publicly, you cannot see the market from a website. You're looking at a partial feed at best. Knowing what's coming, what's sold quietly, and what a seller will actually take is relationships, not data. Relationships between agents, often relationships between an agent and somebody that he knows in the neighborhood. And that's really the whole job. There's a link in the description to grab 20 minutes on my calendar, no pitch. Tell me your budget and your timeline, and I'll tell you straight whether Meadowmont is realistic for you and where else to look if it isn't. Better to find that out now than after you've flown here. Attention number 3, what you're actually buying. So what does $1.1 million buy in Meadowmont? Genuine walkability, which is pretty rare in this region, in the Triangle. Meadowmont Village is a real village center, a grocery store, a nice one, restaurants, offices, services, all of it on foot. Not sort of walkable in the marketing sense, walkable in the sense that you can leave the car in the garage on Saturday. There's a park in the center of the neighborhood, trails connecting to the Chapel Hill Greenway, playgrounds, a swim club, nice one, and the UNC Wellness Center, which also has an indoor lap pool if you're into that kind of thing, and is really very, very nice. It's only about 3 miles to UNC, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and about 2 miles to I-40, sitting right at the Highway 54 entrance to Chapel Hill. For anyone working at the university or the hospital, the commute math here is really, really hard to beat. There's also the Cedars. Now, this is a continuing care retirement community inside of the neighborhood, which is really part of why this place skews the way it does, with the condos being so much more expensive. You got serious money downsizing into it, and that pulls the whole price structure up. Now, the schools. This is the part I really need out-of-state buyers to hear. Rashkis Elementary School is inside the neighborhood. Kids walk to to it. It feeds toward Culper's Middle School and I believe East Chapel Hill High. Those are all strong schools. That's the good version of this conversation, and it's very good. But here's the catch. Meadowmont sits across a county line. It spans into 2 counties. Part of the neighborhood is in Orange County and feeds Chapel Hill Carrboro City Schools. Part of it is in Durham County and is zoned for Durham Public Schools. But the entire neighborhood has a Chapel Hill mailing address either way. So think about what that means. Families move to Chapel Hill, pay what we call the Chapel Hill premium substantially for the Chapel Hill Carrboro schools. You may buy a home in Meadowmont with a Chapel Hill address and be signed to a completely different district than the one you thought you were buying into. So the rule is the same one to give everybody in this market, really in any market, and it matters more here than almost anywhere. Verify the school assignment or the specific address with the school district before you write an offer on a property. Don't verify it by looking at the neighborhood name. Don't verify it even by looking at the listing. Don't verify it by asking the listing agent. Verify it with the district by the address. And before you ask, by the way, no, the Durham side is not discounted. I assumed it would be, actually, but it isn't. 3 of those 17 sales in the last 18 months were on the Durham County side, and all 3 closed at above $1.2 million, averaging about $1.35 million. The Orange County side averaged closer to $1.08 million. Now, on the Durham side, that's only 3 sales. Most of the neighborhoods in Orange County, and a portion of it is in Durham County, and only 3 homes sold in the last 18 months. So that's 3. So I can't really stand here and call that a trend or something that's substantially statistically significant, because it really isn't. But it is enough to kill the assumption that you will get a discount if you buy on the Durham side. The likely explanation is simply that what got built on that side is bigger, newer homes rather than anything about the schools, which is the point. In this neighborhood, the county line changes your school assignment. Yeah, sure, when you live on that side of the neighborhood, you can still walk to an elementary school, but it just isn't the elementary school that your kids will be attending because that's in Durham. But it changes your school assignment, but it does not appear to change your price, at least not substantially. So do not go shopping the Durham side of Meadowmont looking for a good deal because you may be disappointed. So who is Meadowmont for and who is it not for? Let's put it plainly. Meadowmont is right for you if you work at UNC, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, or at the UNC hospital, or if you fly a lot for your job or fly a lot for any reason, and you want to be close to I-40 and therefore close to the airport. If you want to actually walk places, that's the whole product, and it's genuinely delivered in this neighborhood. Although, again, with some hills that you're going to have to traverse in order to get from one part of the neighborhood to the other. So be prepared to get your steps in. It's for you if you're comfortable somewhere north of 800,000, realistically closer to $1 million, and you want a planned community with a village center, and you don't need a big lot. There aren't many big lots in your neighborhood. Meadowmont is wrong for you if you're shopping under $750,000. There's nothing here for you right now in any property type at all, not condos, not townhomes, not single-family homes. It's also wrong for you if you want acreage or an older house with some history and charm. It's also wrong for you if you're relying on a website to tell you what things are worth, because in this neighborhood, that is absolutely going to fail you. It's also wrong for you if you assumed a townhome or a condo would be an affordable entry to the neighborhood, in which case you now know that that's exactly backwards or upside down. Now, if you like the idea of a walkable planned community with a village center, village green and all that, but the numbers here don't work, watch my Southern Village video. Same basic concept, close to the same age as Meadowmont on the other side of Chapel Hill, still very, very, perhaps even more convenient to the University of North Carolina and the hospital, but a different price structure. It's a more typical price structure where condos are entry, townhouse is a step up, and single family homes are the top of the market, as opposed to Meadowmont, which is upside down. I'll pin that in the comments. If this was useful, the deep dive playlist has the rest of the triangle: Chapel Hill, Durham, Cary, more videos going up every week. Subscribe so you catch the one neighborhood on wherever you're actually considering living. And if you want to talk through your situation, budget, commute, your timeline, the calendar link is in the description and on the banner in the channel. 20 minutes, straight answers. There's also more information about me and my team at spotlightnc.com, including a written Meadowmont breakdown if you'd like to read it. I'm Bill Stevenson. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.